I want to discuss three methods I've used to increase my self-discipline with great success. These aren't the typical things you usually hear about when it comes to self-development, but it's really worth giving them a try. Each may sound a little weird and don't really seem linked with one another, but these are methods I personally use. You'll find the results speak for themselves. Force yourself out of bed early. What you do in the early hours can carry momentum throughout the entire day. A sluggish start can mean a slow and lazy attitude for the rest of your waking hours. It can be a big boost to force yourself out of bed the moment you hear the alarm go off. I'm sure you set the alarm clock at a certain time for a reason. It's also probable that you feel too tired to get up and simply hit the snooze button over and over again. Just 10 minutes more sleep, then I'll get up. Unfortunately, those 3 times of hitting the snooze button have just caused you to get out of bed half an hour later than you wanted to. You'll find that you have a lot more energy and vigor if you force yourself out of bed the moment you hear that alarm go off. Yeah, it's difficult, but it's worth it. It's mind against body. Once you force yourself out of bed, no matter how tired you feel, it's almost like you've won a battle. This attitude can remain throughout the day. It becomes easier to fight off laziness in other situations and tasks, resulting in a happier, more positive you. Ignore desire. There are some desires in the world that get us into trouble. These are usually things that you feel like doing but really regret afterwards. They might be trivial, like spending money on something you can't afford, or buying things on credit you don't really need, or they may be terrible things like cheating on your loved one. All of these are heat-of-the-moment temptations. They feel great at the time and grant temporary pleasure, but the horror of regret afterwards can make it hard to live with yourself and can cause guilt and shame. Staying strong in these moments of temptation will really help with self-discipline. Usually, if you can hold off your desire for the duration, you'll generally feel well rewarded and will become a stronger, more confident human being. The daily task list. When you have a list of tasks to do, it's always better to write them down. It removes the stress of overwhelm and helps focus the mind. Instead of feeling bogged down and helpless, you have an itemized list that you can tick off one by one. And boy, does it feel good to cross those items off that list. To make things more advanced, it's better to prioritize. Simply add a number between 1 and 3 against that task. That indicates its importance. Then, be sure to start those tasks first that have higher priority. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. And for those tasks you couldn't do today, just add the letter T to the task, so you'll add it to tomorrow's list. Doing this removes the feeling that you failed to complete all tasks. Adding it to tomorrow's list can free your mind from worry and leave you to relax a little in the evening. The daily task list does sound obvious and simplistic, but it's a very powerful tool for self-discipline. Writing tasks down removes a lot of stress from the mind. You'll no longer have that nagging feeling at the back of the mind that you've got too much to do. Instead, you'll have a neat prioritized list. Another nice advantage is the feeling you get when you cross an item off this list. It's very motivating and can spur you on to complete the whole list. And there you have it. Use any or all of these methods to increase your self-discipline. Try at least one of these tips within the next 24 hours. You may well be surprised with the results.